All right, I'm here with Shauna, and she's from what part of the country you from?
Texas. I live in Texas.
What part?
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Dallas. You a Cowboys fan?
Mm,
No. Good. Good. I don't care who you root for as long as not Dallas. Anyway, I just took it all the way to the left like
right.
that. Hey, Aaron, you back at you are video bombing once again today? That's what it is? All this cuteness just seems to be circulating around. So we're wrapping up this trip. Is this your first time in Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
And what has this trip been like for you?
Oh my gosh, such an awakening. I'm quiet because I'm processing and just going to all the different sites and just seeing even the Nubian village. I was just talking to Rick about it. I was like, that was such an awakening for me. And it's like, wow, like just makes me want to go back and really like do the African ancestry to like learn about my roots. And it just kind of opened it up. Like I'm turning 40 and I'm like, you know what, that's going to be my 40th. Like this is my 40th gift. Coming to Africa, and I was like, on top of that, I need to go back and explore my own roots.
So now go learn a little bit more, and really that's what ends up happening. You begin to learn and see by way of the exploration.
Yeah.
So that the Nubian village, that's something that was memorable for you. Give me something else that was memorable.
Just even the Egyptian museum and just learn even the temples, like the Nefertari temple. Like I always knew about Nefertiti. Nefertiti. But to learn about Nefertari, I was like, oh, okay. And so to even learn about that and then, with Tariq pointing out like our features and just learning about that aspect of it in the Egyptian museum and just being more proud of your nose because some of the statues, they like chopped off our nose and it's just like being more proud of who you are.
Yeah. Being proud of these noses and lips and features and all of that stuff that people will try to, see them as a negative, but when you start to understand the history and you see it here, they couldn't, it's not like it was written on a paper or written someplace where they could erase. They tried to erase it, but because it was etched in stone, they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it, right. Exactly. And just being around the people, like everyone here is like, welcome home. It's like such a, it's such a warm feeling to be somewhere that they accept you for who you are. They see your skin color, and it's just more of like such an acceptance. So I can't even imagine. And this is just Egypt. I can't even imagine exploring all the other places.
Right. We go to the west, right? Because a lot of people say, well, in Egypt it's all Arab, and they don't like you over there, and they say it's only because you're, African American. They want your money, and that's the only reason why they like you. But the one thing that I've spent a lot of time here in Egypt. And what I can say is, in some cases that's true, but in other cases it's not. Human beings are human beings, and oftentimes we share a common thread, and that common thread is just our common stories, and that's some of the things that I've seen here. Why do you think it's important or do you think it's important for others to come and have this experience in Egypt?
Oh my gosh, because I think, you learn something in the history books, and especially nowadays they're trying to change up, right? they so changing the history books, but to actually bring, either your kids here or to bring and just experience it with your family member. Like, I'm on this trip with my sister. This is something that, for ages to come, we will always be connected on this trip together.
That's right.
I explored it with my best friend. Like, this is something that's always connected. And it's like, you may read about something, but to actually come and experience it, to me, I'm all about experiences. That's my thing. And to actually come here and to actually experience it, that's why I think it's like you can't just write it down, like, and just read about it. You got to come and experience it yourself.
Do you ever feel unsafe?
No.
Because what they say, everything comes safe travel.
Right.
Be safe. I need to be safe going to the grocery store.
Yes.
In the DMV.
Yes, when I was coming and I was telling people Egypt, they're like, Egypt, you sure it's safe? I'm like, I felt so safe. It's not one time I felt in danger or was scared or anything like that. Like, it was so, and the people here are like also just nice, just hospitality, warm, and then just with the people that you partner with Mufasa and Turk, like they really saw it was like one big happy family, and they made sure they took care of us too.
Good night.
So yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, I want people to be able to hear that because My goal is for us to have these experiences because somebody can't take that from you. Somebody can't go and say, well, girl, you didn't experience that. You can be like, girl, you need to go over there and see for yourself because there's so many people who would be desire to be killjoys. You know, you've had a good time.
Yeah.
They want to come in and say something, and they've never been.
Never been. Right.
Been.
It's just the stereotypes. That's what they're going off of, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, no, you can't steal this joy.
That's right.
Right, because
That's
it just opens up something like, I want more. I want more.
So what do you think is next for you?
Ghana.
I'll tell you something about Ghana. It's and Ghana's a very different experience, you know. And so you're going to get that same akwaba when you go to Ghana, or if you go to the east to Kenya or Tanzania, you get the caribou, you know. So it's so many different welcoming phrases on this continent. Especially, you know, here's the thing. This is what I realized, because a lot of times, I've heard in America, where people will say, okay, those Africans don't like you. And then my question is, what experience have you had with people from Africa? And oftentimes the experience they've had with people from Africa are people who've been Americanized. So now, or they have heard certain things about us.
Right.
So they're already coming with a preconceived notion about African Americans.
Right.
So they're now, you know, they've had the talk or whatever in their respective countries. Stay away from them. They're drug addicts. They're gangbangers. Everybody's pregnant. Everybody's fatherless.
Right.
So they have all these different narratives about it. But the same way we have thoughts about them.
Right. Exactly.
See, so it's like by coming and seeing, it's like
you're breaking down that wall. You're breaking down that barrier.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you heard any of that before?
Yeah. That right. It's, you know, growing up in the States, you do hear the negative talk about Africans, and it wasn't until actually like one of my friends, she actually married a Nigerian.
Okay.
So that was my first exposure to, you know, I was like, and he grew up in Nigeria. So that kind of started like changing my mind. Well, I never tend to stereotype anyways. I'm like, I get to know people from them.
Right.
But it was just an opening and hear how he just talks about his country, how much he loves his country and everything. So that was even just a part of like, oh, well, I never, you know, you never hear about that part. You always, you know, you even see the commercials and it's it's never flattering, you know, but to actually hear somebody talk about their country and how much they love their country, and then at the same time, now coming and having this experience, again, it's just it breaks down those stereotypes of those barriers that whomever trying to form among us. Yeah.
They've been doing it for generations. They've been, you know, on a mission to pit one against the other and say this against the other. But now this is what we do. You're here. You're here with your niece. You're here with your sister and your best friend, and now you all are looking to do Ghana, and I'm sure this is the first of many.
Yes.
And we appreciate you being here. So
yeah, and even for my nephew just to come and experience.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, 22, right, and to see other black males that's where in the group, and for him to even just have this experience too, I think it's great for him because he just graduated from college, so I can't even imagine from this trip, you know, what role he's going to take now.
Right,
you know?
because he's had the exposure.
Yeah.
He's able to see, and now when somebody tries to say, why are you going over to Africa? He can say, well, you know what, you might need to go.
Right.
And see for yourself.
Exactly.
Just like you want to go to Hawaii and to Cabo. And
Yes.
Give me somewhere.
Right.
And what's the one of Bali?
Exactly. But to come home to the motherland, that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you made it, Shauna. Like I say, I can't wait to see you in Ghana.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see this little one as she grows up and who she becomes.
Right.
Because she's had this exposure so early.
Exactly.
So any final words you want to offer to everybody before we wrap up?
You gotta come. You gotta book that trip. You gotta make that sacrifice. Whatever the budget is, you gotta make that sacrifice to come, because I promise you, you would not regret it. It's so much more.
Well, you heard it directly, so you know what you need to do. Sign up to be a part of these travel experiences here with this partnership with Urban Intellectuals. Go to urbanintellectuals.com/travel, and then you can find out all of the details on the upcoming trips. Make sure you pick up those Black History flashcards, become a part of the Sankofa Club, and guess what? See, you start Sankofa Club off right here. You get the flashcards right here, and then you bring them in person to see Black history in your face. That's how you do it. So until next time, take care, be safe. We'll be back with more as a part of the Urban Intellectuals Family Travel Movement.